If you're a fan of the World's Fastest Car Show, then you'll know that I'm more than a little bit partial to some American muscle. We've had great times in them, and this season I'm even racing one. But you know, I did ask my producer, find me something that's a little bit closer to my British bones. It'll be interesting to see what he came up with. I found an exhilarating little racetrack and the Lotus Evora S. Definitely somewhat of a rebirth for the Lotus brand. They're in IndyCar, they're in Formula One, they're in GT racing here in the States, and actually doing pretty well. What's it like to leapfrog through the generations and end up in a modern day Lotus? Well, first thing is, I think Colin Chapman would recognize it as one of his own. It is lightweight. It has a very fragile, but in a positive way. It has a thoroughbred feel to it. The whole thing is as though you're on a high wire, which was really the way his race cars were. His pursuit of speed came from him lightening the materials and lightening everything in his cars, which ended up in them being incredibly bloody quick. But as we look here in our modern reincarnation, I mean, it's a high revving engine, not a ton of horsepower, about 365, 275 foot-pounds of torque, I think it is, supercharged, but it all does it really wound up, really wound up. From the outside, the Evora has actually very contemporary design cues that I think the Ferrari chaps would be quite impressed with. But it's the driving experience that, well, for me as a racing driver, it kicks in those sort of racing synapses that make you want to drive it very fast, whether it's the 6-speed manual gearbox that is a little clunky, but when you clunk, you're right in the right gear. But it's on the inside that it really all comes together for me. As a racing driver, it gives me all the right kind of feedback. It is so positive that I think that if I put a helmet on, I might even believe that I was in a racing car. Which, being honest about it, is exactly what Colin Chapman intended for all of his cars. He wanted people to take them from the street to the track. God, it's just so incredibly precise. I don't know, do we have an award? I don't think World Fastest Car Show has an award yet. Well, this would win one for just being bloody quick, making me look good. So make no mistake, for not that much money, this car comes in just under 80,000. You really do get yourself a modern day supercar. Okay, doesn't have a ton of horsepower, but the sheer handling alone will make you a tough man to beat. So now, add Bell to that list of notable drivers who've got their rocks off in a Lotus. Check back each week for more on your eBay Motors mobile app. And for even more World's Fastest Car Show action, click over to ebaymotors.com/WFCS, as in the World's Fastest Car Show.